afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is Updates at Noon. I'm Jessica Lee. Making the headlines today. No reduction of workforce by dismantling monopolies. No Marburg virus disease detected in Malaysia so far. Now, the government has given an assurance that there will be no reduction in the workforce if more existing monopolies are dismantled in the country. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar said the issue does not arise because the demand for labour in the country is high.
Pengurangan tenaga kerja itu saya rasa tidak akan timbul sebab memang keperluan tenaga kerja adalah tinggi di negara kita, tetapi masalah yang saya lihat adalah ada ramai daripada penganggur-penganggur yang terlalu memilih kerja. Itu yang menjadi masalah.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim was reported to have said that the government is reviewing all existing monopolies in the country to ensure that the public enjoys fair and better service. Sivakumar, who is also Batu Gajah Member of Parliament, said the government is also serious about breaking the monopoly in the hiring of foreign workers so that no party will be able to reap high profits from the current needs of industries. If possible, he said the government wants to ensure that there is healthy competition and improve quality of goods and services, while at the same time help bring down the prices. Now, the Health Ministry, MOH, has confirmed that no Marburg virus disease has been detected in the country so far. However, its Minister, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa, said MOH will continue to take preventive measures to reduce the risk of the virus spreading. She said control and surveillance, especially at the country's international entry gates, will be intensified as they keep track of the development of the virus from time to time.
Kita pemantauan bila kita dapat ada berita macam ni memang kita melakukan surveillance ya. Pemantauan tu dibuat khususnya untuk mereka yang datang daripada Afrika lah. Tapi setakat ini belum ada lah apa-apa kes yang kita pemantauan itu dilakukan dari masa ke masa dan setakat ini kita belum dapat lagi apa-apa maksudnya kes lah berkenaan dengan virus tersebut.
She also advised Malaysians who have just returned from Africa to undergo tests at nearby hospitals and clinics if they display symptoms of deteriorating health. Earlier, Malawi's Health Ministry issued an alert on the Marburg virus disease, which has so far claimed 5 lives in Tanzania's northwestern region of Kagera. The Education Ministry has asked schools to monitor Muslim students, especially those in Year 1 who are fasting, whether they are able to complete the fast. Now, its Minister Fadlina Siddiq said if teachers witness their pupils being tired from fasting or unable to perform the ritual, they should discuss the matter with the parents. The minister said this is to avoid any untoward incident over the pupils' health and safety. She noted that parents and teachers must communicate and find the best way to teach the children the proper process of fasting.
Kalau di sekolah, maknanya kena ada pantauan lah. Kalau guru-guru lihat anak tu tak cukup air ataupun mengalami masalah-masalah kesihatan yang lain ataupun tidak bersedia untuk berpuasa, saya minta bincang dengan ibu bapa supaya ada proses pendidikan sepenuhnya lah ekosistem itu. Sebab tu kata ekosistem itu penting.
Fadlina was met at an iftar event at the Islamic Centre of the University Science Malaysia or USM Engineering Campus last night. A review study to improve the Destitute Persons Act 1977 to deal with the issue of beggars is expected to be completed this September. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said the ministry will announce the findings and the next steps that will be taken to amend the Act. Elaborating further, Datuk Sri Nancy said the ministry is also improving the act related to the senior citizens because it is necessary to look at all the acts that they want to amend in a comprehensive way. She revealed that a total of 11,000 beggars and homeless people have been found nationwide, with the highest number of them are in Kuala Lumpur. The minister was met after the Rahmah Ramadan program with the residents of Desa Bina Diri or DBD in Kuching. DBD is a special home for beggars and destitute individuals where they can get care, protection and rehabilitation. Apart from the DBD in Kuching, there are 4 other institutions that house destitute individuals, including beggars, namely Mersing DBD in Johor, Jerantut DBD in Pahang, Kota Kinabalu DBD in Sabah and Pusat Sehenti Bina Diri Sungai Buloh in Selangor. A total of 11,000 heads of households in Selangor are set to receive food baskets that will be distributed to all parliamentary constituencies in the state under the Bakul Rahmah initiative. Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Syari said the selection of the one of 8 will be determined by the State Legislative Assembly Service Centre, which has a list of qualified individuals identified through the state government's aid program.
Kita sasarkan lebih kurang 500 setiap parlimen di negeri Selangor dan keseluruhannya ada 11,000 bakul makanan yang akan boleh diedarkan mulai hari ini. Simboliknya pada hari ini ia bermula untuk 4 kawasan parlimen dan 4 kali 500, maknanya kita ada dekat 2,000 bakul makanan yang boleh digerakkan hari ini dan parlimen-parlimen lain akan bergerak dengan sequel dan juga dengan yang telah diaturkan.
The first 4 parliamentary constituencies are Gombak, Sabak Bernam, Kuala Selangor and Hulu Langat. The Menteri Besar was met after the launch and handover ceremony of the Selangor 2023 state-level Bakul Rahmah initiative in Kuala Selangor. The Bakul Rahmah initiative is one of the 4 elements under the Payung Rahmah initiative aimed at helping the B40 and hardcore poor in dealing with the high cost of living. Now, police have arrested a woman, 46, and a man, 31, to facilitate investigations into suspected abuse of 3 siblings with signs of abuse. Now, the arrests followed a police report lodged by a man who had discovered the 3 boys, aged 13 to 16, the day before. Kanga District Police Chief ACP Yusharifuddin Muhammad Yusof in a statement said the woman is believed to be their mother. The 3 boys were found by villagers near a small bridge at Jalan Kampung Tambun Tulang, Simpang 4, Kanga on Friday, all in weak condition. Now, 2 of the boys had their legs chained together. He said 2 of the children were persons with disabilities and possessed cards identifying their hearing and learning disabilities. The case is being investigated under Section 31, Subsection 1A of the Child's Act 2001, and both suspects have been remanded for 7 days until the 31st of March. In Kuala Lumpur, police are tracking individuals believed to be involved in the case involving the discovery of tens of cat skeletons, organs and carcasses in a condominium unit in Bandar Sri Permaisuri, Cheras on the 11th of March. Now, according to Cheras District Police Chief ACP Zam Halim Jamaluddin, the police received a report on the incident on the 13th of March. An investigation paper has been opened under Section 428 of the Penal Code for mischief by killing or maiming animals. The Malaysia Animal Association, or MAA, on its Facebook post on Friday said that a homeowner made a gruesome discovery of skeletons, organs and cat carcasses in a condo unit rented by a 31-year-old man. The act came to light after the neighbours in the condominium complained about a foul stench emanating from the house. In our foreign segment, tornado kills at least 25 in Mississippi. Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha was officially officially nominated for re-election yesterday as his party's first candidate for the country's next leader in polls set for the 14th of May. Prayuth, 69, is running with the new United Thai Nation Party and will likely face Pure Thai Party's Paetongtarn Shinawat, daughter and niece of the two former premiers from the billionaire family. The incumbent, in power since 2014 when the military toppled a civilian government, was elected as a civilian leader in 2019. The military veteran has lacked rivals in opinion polls but hopes to win over supporters with promises of looking after the well-being of the people and the country's stability and protecting the monarchy. Prayuth said his next government will continue the work of his current administration with a steady hand and the slogan, "Have done, doing and will continue." He added that the most important thing is to defend the country and protect the nation's main institution, expressing hope that the people will continue to trust him. Thailand's election is set to be a showdown between elite establishment and pro-democracy forces that have dominated politics in the Southeast Asian country for decades. Search efforts are underway after at least 25 people were killed by devastating tornadoes that ripped across the southern U.S. state of Mississippi, tearing off roofs, smashing cars and flattening entire neighborhoods. The powerful storm system, accompanied by thunderstorms and driving rain, cut a path of more than 60 kilometers across Mississippi late Friday, slamming several towns along the way. The state's emergency management agency said dozens of people were injured, while tens of thousands of people in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee remain without power. In Rolling Fork, home to fewer than 2,000 people, an entire row of houses and buildings were demolished, leaving only scattered debris. The cars were overturned, fences were ripped up, and trees uprooted. The Emergency Management Agency said search and rescue operations were underway in Sharkey County, home to Rolling Fork, located about 112 kilometers northwest of the state capital, Jackson, and neighboring counties. Fatalities also occurred in Humphreys, Carroll, and Monroe counties. Mississippi officials set up 3 emergency shelters, including at the National Guard Armory in Rolling Fork. President Joe Biden called the images from Mississippi heartbreaking and vowed to put federal resources at the state's disposal. Now, over in Spain, evacuated people due to Spain's first major wildfire of the year were awaiting their fate as the blaze kept raging. Now, the wildfire that has scorched more than 4,000 hectares of forest forced 1,700 villagers to leave their homes in the Valencia and Aragon region. Emergency services said more than 500 firefighters, supported by 20 planes and helicopters, were working to bring the blaze under control near the village of Villanueva de Vivier. The blaze also spread to the Turella area of the Aragon region, where some 200 people had to be evacuated. However, they said firefighters had managed to stop the fire from spreading to other areas. President of the Valencia region, Zimo Puig, told reporters that the blaze was made more voracious by summer-like temperatures of about 30 degrees Celsius. An unusually dry winter across parts of southern Europe has raised concerns that there could be a repeat of last year's devastating wildfires. The State Meteorological Agency said last week that the weather would be drier and hotter than usual this spring along Spain's northeastern Mediterranean coast, increasing the risk of fires. According to the European Commission's Europe Forest Fire Information System, 493 fires destroyed a record of 307,000 hectares of land in Spain last year. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he would deploy tactical nuclear weapons in neighbor and ally Belarus, bringing the arms to a country at the gates of the European Union. Now, Putin has previously issued thinly veiled warnings that he could use nuclear weapons in Ukraine if Russia were threatened, reviving Cold War era fears. He also said he would deploy depleted uranium ammunition if Kiev received the controversial weaponry from the West, following a British suggestion that it could supply Ukraine. Now, Putin said the move to deploy tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus was nothing unusual, and they will not violate the international agreements on nuclear non-proliferation. Putin said Russia will have completed the construction of a storage facility for tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus by the 1st of July. He said Russia has stationed 10 aircraft in Belarus capable of carrying tactical nuclear weapons, adding that Moscow had already transferred to Belarus a number of Iskander tactical missile systems that can be used to launch nuclear weapons. Now, the Interior Ministry of Honduras has announced the severance of diplomatic relations with Taiwan. It said the Secretary of State in the Offices of Foreign Relations and International Cooperation, with instructions from the President of the Republic, has communicated to Taiwan the decision to break diplomatic relations. According to the statement by the ministry, Honduras recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as the only legitimate government. Taiwan responded to Honduras with reciprocal measures, saying that its foreign ministry had decided to end diplomatic relations with the Republic of Honduras, completely stop bilateral cooperation, and withdraw the diplomatic mission. Now, earlier this month, Taiwan recalled its ambassador from Honduras following the announcement that the Central American country was intending to establish formal relations with China. On the 15th of March, Honduran President Xiomara Castro instructed Foreign Minister Eduardo Reyna to start work on establishing formal diplomatic relations with China. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said that Honduras' willingness to establish diplomatic relations with Beijing was a trend of history that China welcomes. The French police again clashed with protesters as campaigners in the southwest sought to stop the construction of giant water storage facilities, the latest flashpoint as social tensions erupt nationwide. At Sainte-Soline, several protesters and members of security forces were injured in yesterday's confrontations at the banned protest. Campaigners there are trying to stop the construction of giant water basins to irrigate crops, which they say will distort access to water amid drought conditions. A long procession of activists set off late morning for the site, numbering at least 6,000 people, according to local authorities, around 30,000 according to the organizers. Now, once they arrived at the construction site, clashes quickly broke out between the activists and the security forces. Protesters threw various projectiles, including improvised explosives, while police responded with tear gas, water cannons, and rubber bullets. The violent scenes at Sainte-Soline came after days of unrest over President Emmanuel Macron's pension reform. The protest movement against the reform has turned into the biggest domestic crisis of Macron's second mandate, with police and protesters clashing daily in Paris and other cities over the past week. Coming up in sport, Soon Huat and Siobhan storm into Swiss Open final. National professional mixed doubles pair Goh Soon Huat and Siobhan Jamie Lai are left to carry Malaysia's hopes at the 2023 Swiss Open Badminton Championships in Basel after advancing to the finals early this morning. Now, Soon Huat and Siobhan advanced to the final after defeating Robin Tebling and Selina Piek of the Netherlands in a 38-minute clash at St. Jacob's Hall. The sixth-seeded Soon Huat and Siobhan were pushed hard by the Dutch pair in the second set and had to save 2 game points before ending the match with the scores of 21-14, 23-21. The world number 11 will meet China's Jiang Zhengbang and Wei Yaxin, who booked their final slot after beating Ye Hongwei and Li Chia-sin of Taiwan 21-13, 23-21 in another semi-final action. Now, Malaysia can expect a torrid time at the Sudirman Cup Mixed Team Badminton Championship, scheduled to be held in Suzhou, China, from the 14th to the 21st of May. Now, based on the virtual draw carried out in Suzhou, fourth-seeded Malaysia have been drawn in Group C with Taiwan, India and Australia. On paper, India and Taiwan are seen as the main stumbling blocks for Malaysia to get past the group stage, as only the top two teams from each group will qualify for the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, defending champions and 12-time winners China should have no problem getting past the group stage after being pitted against Denmark, Singapore and Egypt in Group A. Now, Indonesia and Thailand should battle it out for the top two places in Group B, which also comprises Germany and Canada. Now, Group D is also set to witness a titanic battle between four-time champions South Korea, Japan, England and France. Malaysia have never won the Sudirman Cup since it was first held in Jakarta, Indonesia in 1989. At the previous edition in Vantaa, Finland, Malaysia's challenge ended in the semi-finals after they lost 3-1 to Japan. In local football news, former national under-23 or U23 football coach Frank Bernhard has been appointed as Kelantan FC technical director. Now, his appointment is to replace former technical director Nasir Yusof. Kelantan FC, in a release statement, said Bernhard had not only served as the national under-23 head coach, but he also coached UITM FC. Bernhard, a former Werder Bremen player, also served as technical director for Estonia FA from 2007 to 2012 and Azerbaijan FA from 2014 to 2017. According to the club, the appointment of a technical director is a compulsory condition in the club license under the Malaysia Football League. It added that Bernhard, who has a UEFA Pro Coaching certificate from the German Sports University in Cologne, will be fully responsible for monitoring and assessing coaches and team technical related issues. The club voiced its hope that the appointment could drive the team to greater success. Now, an early goal by Dani Olmo and a late Josulo double gave Spain a 3-0 win over Norway in their first Euro 2024 Group A qualifier early today as they begin a new era under Luis de la Fuente. Spain took the lead in the 13th minute through winger Olmo, who flicked the ball into the bottom corner with the outside of his boot after being set up by defender Alejandro Balde. The hosts doubled their lead in the 84th minute when substitute striker Joselu nodded in a brilliant cross by midfielder Fabian Ruiz 3 minutes after coming on. The 32-year-old found the net again a minute later to make it 3-0 on his debut from a rebound. Now, Spain rebuilding with their new coach following a last 16 World Cup exit to Morocco were less focused on possession and much more on going straight for the opposing goal. Norway, without striker Erling Haaland with a groin injury, grew in confidence but spurned several chances, including efforts by Martin Odegaard, Fredrik Ornes and Alexander Sorloth. Now, Spain next face Scotland in Glasgow on Tuesday, while Norway will travel to Georgia, where they will again be without Manchester City striker Haaland because of the groin problem. Moving on to tennis, fifth seed Felix Auger-Aliassime needed 2 tie breaks to put away Brazilian Thiago Monteiro 7-6, 7-6 and advance to the third round of the Miami Open early today. Now, ranked number 81 in the world, Monteiro pushed the Canadian world number 6 all the way as neither player were able to break the other's serve in nearly 3 hours of tennis. Auger-Aliassime was forced to show plenty of mettle to pull through against a fired-up Monteiro. The Brazilian saved 2 set points at 4-5 in the opening set, but he could do nothing to stop Auger-Aliassime in the tie-break. Despite that setback, Monteiro again refused to lie down in the second set. The 28-year-old lefty saved all 3 break points he faced to force another tie break, which proved to be the highlight of an intriguing encounter. It was Auger-Aliassime's power and particularly his huge serve which proved to be crucial for his win in blustery conditions. The 5th seed won 86% of points behind his first delivery and sent down 12 aces to improve his ATP head-to-head record against Montero to 3-love. He will next take on another South American, Francisco Cerundolo, who downed American lucky loser Alexander Kovacevic 6-4, 6-4. In MotoGP news, reigning world champion Francesco Bagnaia won the first ever MotoGP sprint with a last lap overtake at the season opening Portuguese Grand Prix to earn 12 points and move to the top of the riders' standings ahead of the race today. This season, in a bid to make the sport more entertaining, sprints will be run a day before the race and are approximately 50% of the full distance, which was 12 laps around the Portimao circuit. Marc Marquez stunned the field when he took pole position in qualifying earlier with the help of a slipstream, but his Honda was no match for the Ducatis, whose straight-line speed helped Bagnaia take the lead in the opening lap. Marquez struggled to keep his rivals at bay, and soon Pramac Racing's Jorge Martin went past him and even took the lead from Bagnaia, while Jack Miller and Miguel Oliveira also overtook the 6-time champion, who dropped to 5th. But with 2 laps to go, Marquez saw an opening when Oliveira and Miller jostled for position, performing a risky double overtake to move up and finish 3rd. Now, on the final lap, Martin looked set to take the checkered flag, but the Spaniard went wide on the turn, opening the door for Bagnaia to storm ahead and win the sprint. Today's race will have the same grid order after the qualifying session, with Marquez on pole. Final item on cycling, Australian sprinter Caden Groves won a second stage at this year's Tour of Catalonia yesterday as he edged a mass bunch sprint for the line at Molins del Rey ahead of Frenchman Brian Coquard. Groves achieves the win on teammates' bike after getting a flat tyre on the run-in and even fighting his way back to the rest of the peloton. On a largely flat 175km stage 6, Remco Evenepoel did his best to take the overall lead by attacking Primož Roglič on the day's only real climb, 20 kilometers from the finish. But despite Evenepoel's best efforts, both riders could only take 1 second off each other, leaving Roglic's lead untouched. Leader Roglič shadowed the young Belgian, and the pair ended the day with the Slovenian leading Evenepoel by 10 seconds ahead of what promises to be a spectacular showdown 7th stage in Barcelona today. Colombian Ineos rider Egan Bernal crashed out of the Tour when he was tangled in a 4-rider fall at the 80-kilometer mark. Roglič must now survive today's draining run round downtown Barcelona, which culminates in 4 repeated ascents of the Montjuïc mountain. And that's it for updates at noon. In our top story, no reduction of workforce by dismantling monopolies. Tune in to News at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on My Freeview Saluran Berita RTM, channel 123. You can also stream the channel via YouTube or RTM's Click web portal and mobile app. Thank you for watching. I'm Jessica Lee. Have a pleasant Sunday.